buying a car, everybody wants to treat it like a gallon of milk, right? And, buying a house takes like months. It takes forever, it seems like, to buy a house. Buying a car is your second largest purchase, but yet myself too, right? Like we want it to go quickly. If you start inside and go through a needs assessment, that person on the other side of you, that salesperson is 100% trying to help, right? And if you let them help, a lot of times it will speed up the process and actually let them actually guide you a little bit as, when you're buying. The salesperson should go out there, meet and greet, just like basically any other dealership that you're going to talk about. The intent is to get as much information as we get on the same level, right? After the test drive, make sure they like the vehicle. We'll go out and out with some rough numbers. Those rough numbers are really to get an idea on what the payment's going to look like. We put some cash options on there to make sure that you understand. Once you figure all that out, you get some options and you get all the numbers should be there. There should be no surprises. As soon as you come in and you say, hey, listen, I want to buy that vehicle, then the first thing we're going to do is make sure that we're priced competitively, right? Like, because if we're not priced competitively, hey, you're probably not looking at it. You're probably not even going to come look at it. But if you did happen to look at it, we certainly don't want to get down the road and find out that we're off on our price. So we go over all that. We get it all dialed in. At that point, we ask for a credit app. If it makes sense, we go for a credit app at that point, and then we come out with one last final number, and it's time to wrap up the deal. And that's the way the deal really should go in a perfect world. I think the number one thing you should be prepared for is a conscious person, somebody that's done a lot of research online. A lot of times price is the number one factor before a lot of other factors. And you say, okay, that's the cheapest one. I've got some friends right now in Florida and they're looking for a vehicle. They're picking out the cheapest ones around, right? All over South Florida, they're picking out the cheapest vehicles out there. And I'm like, okay, but, read that fine print, right? See exactly what you got going on. Even our dealership has things like if we're going to price something, we're going to try to put it out there on what you got to do to qualify for that price. The only reason we do that is so we can be competitive. And those dealerships are doing the exact same thing, right? They're trying to be competitive, but at a cost, right? So to be competitive, you got to do these other things to make sure. As long as a customer, if you know it going into it, by all means, then, you're making a conscious decision to go in there. If a customer comes to me and we said, hey, listen, this vehicle is priced to finance and you don't finance, I've already set an expectation on how much it adjusts the price, right? At that point, focus on the vehicle. You already know it's the cheapest price out there. You already know what hoops you got to jump through. Now focus on the vehicle, right? Make sure that vehicle's the one that you want. Make sure it's in the condition you want. Read the fees. The fees are all there. Factor it all in, right? Typically, the cheaper that the vehicle is, the less room that dealer has to work. So the more they're going to have to do to make that ground up. There's 3 ways that a dealer makes on a car deal, right? There's 3 ways to make profit. That's through the financing, through the trade-in, or through the vehicle itself. The cheaper that vehicle itself is, the market itself dictates how much you got to give for them. Whether it's from the auction, from the customers, whatever. You've got to be able to understand, the customer's got to know when you see that super cheap price, start asking more questions, right? And that's what you got to do. That's what you see all over. The good news is when you come to McFarland Chevrolet, we have our salespeople usually stop at the numbers, right? So we like to try to get the fast pass. You're going to get to a sales manager as fast here as you will anywhere. We're manager heavy, so we try to get you to the experienced person that knows how to get the deal as fast as possible. If you call in, make an appointment, come on in, right? If you don't want to make an appointment, that's cool. Just tell them what you need. They'll help you, okay? So listen, I don't care what you're buying, okay? If you're buying a boat, if you're buying a car somewhere else or whatever, if you need help and you need to understand, listen, by all means, reach out to me. I don't care a bit to help. I help people, especially people outside the area and stuff, my friends and family, but any good customer, if you call me and you talk to me, you ask me a question, I don't care where you're buying at, I'll certainly help, and I'll help in the best way I can and give you the best advice I can give.